You are listening to Miner Metrics Complete for September 3rd. This show is powered by a script written by Lockfox of Eve Prosper. The show is aimed at players participating in the mining profession and is intended to help you get the most ISK per unit in both the mineral and ice markets. If you'd like to discuss the show with me in real time, feel free to join the show's Discord server via the link in the description below. We'll start where we normally do with minerals, and our first mineral, as always, is Tritanium. The movement on Tritanium over the last few months has been very good, with a near complete return of value from the introduction of the Rorqual changes. This is very surprising, and certainly should not be behaving this way. Zooming in, we can see that our RSI has been dipping down in reaction to our current price holding for so long. While this would normally be an indication that we might hold this price going forward, I would advise against believing this signal. We know that the supply of Tritanium per capita should be higher than before the capital mining release. I personally think that this price is more of a reflection of the summer doldrums, rather than an indication that the maximum supply for the market has actually decreased. I believe that this is going to be near the peak as we head into fall, and players return with the souring of the weather. I would recommend taking advantage now and getting all that Tritanium out of your hangars. Pyrite is not experiencing the same recovery, unfortunately. While there's been a slight climb over the last few weeks, we're still moving around the trough we entered with the introduction of the capital mining. Zooming in, we can see that we're at a peak for the moment. The price is topping out the RSI just like it did a couple months ago. As a conservative kind of guy, I would recommend selling Pyrite now to catch this local peak. I have almost no doubts that our price is heading back down to our trough level in the next few weeks. Mexilon is continuing its trend of being amazing today. Once again, we've returned to a yearly high, and it's a great time to sell. Zooming in, we can see the RSI has actually crept above the 70% mark for the last few weeks. I can't imagine a better sell signal, and I would jump at the chance to cash out. Next up, we have Isogen as an echo to our Pyrite movements, with the trough still holding the price low. Zooming in, we can see a local peak, but the movement is even less drastic than Pyrite. You might think that I'd recommend selling Isogen like I did Pyrite, but I'm actually pretty strongly against this line of action. The price movements are similar in pattern, but the actual percentage gains are so slight that I simply cannot justify a sale. Holding and waiting for unusual upward market activity is the only way forward. Noxium is showing a massive recovery from the capital mining introduction, so much so that our price has actually reached a yearly high, although trading right around the same price as before the changes. Zooming in, we can see the RSI line is bouncing off the 70% line repeatedly over the last week. Much like Tritanium, this price can't last forever, and in fact must come back down due to the nature of the supply of the market. This price is held for the last few days, giving a longer window to get rid of your Noxium at this great price. Zydrene has been behaving very interestingly over the last few weeks, with a massive jump in price. So much so that our current price is rivaling the peak 7 months ago. Zooming in, we can see the RSI is telling us that this price can't last. The price has pushed the strength well above the 70% line for over a week. This price is going to come crashing down at some point, and indeed we can see a slow back off from our peak a week ago. This price is on the way down, and you can cash out now to make sure you don't lose any more. By comparison, Megasite's recent movements have been very tame. We can see we've been moving around a slightly lowered trough at the moment. Zooming in, we can see a recent peak and a slow back off from it. We've been here for a while, and I don't think it's a bad idea to sell Megasite and take advantage of our slightly elevated price. I don't think we'll see any kind of jump for a while. For the last of our minerals, we have Morphite, with a rapid climb beginning to rival the peak we had 8 months ago. Zooming in, we can see this RSI is bouncing off the 70% mark. This is a great sale price and should be taken advantage of. We've even had a bit of upward volatility, pushing the price back up to its peak. This will probably be the best Morphite price we get all year, so make sure you liquidate and take advantage of it. Now we'll move on to ice products, starting with heavy water. We can see a recent peak with a drop down to a trough slightly above our previous one. Zooming in, we can see how dramatic our peak and drop really are. Heavy water is currently holding at its new value, and I can't really see any reason for it to change for the time being. Our price is a bit of a toss-up in my opinion. We could go either way, and I wouldn't predict anything solid. As a conservative play, I would recommend selling now, as we can see in our price history that the price can go quite a bit lower. Liquid ozone is as stable as ever with basically no noticeable movement, and zooming in we can see how stable it really is. If you need to liquidate, I would, as the price is not going to change anytime soon, but it may be a better idea to sit and wait for a hike. I just can't tell you when that hike will happen. Strontium clathrates are going through a growth period along with the rest of our markets. Growth is slight but noticeable. Zooming in, we can see just how slight the growth is. We have had a bit of military rumblings, so it may result in a buyout of clathrates if things get particularly crazy. But the current action is more of a pillow fight than a proper war. That's not to say it couldn't become one. I would recommend selling 80% of your stock on a good day of upward volatility and holding 20% and watching out for that possible jump. Helium isotopes took a dip 2 months ago, but have rebounded up to the previous level with slow growth. Zooming in, we can see by reaching up to our old standard price that we're actually hitting in the top of our RSI. I personally don't buy this indicator, and I think we'll be trading at our standard price for the foreseeable future. If you've been holding on to helium and waiting for a rebound, now's the time to sell, as the value has returned. Otherwise, it's just an underperforming market that doesn't really matter. Hydrogen isotopes are climbing with the rest of our markets, although the action is definitely slight. Zooming in, we can see the day ended with a bit of upward volatility, in addition to its slight climb. Given the stability of our price history, I would recommend selling off your hydrogen and taking advantage of the hike. We still haven't reached price parity, but we won't be seeing that until we're closer to the mining platform release this winter. Nitrogen isotopes in particular are incredibly interesting. Nitrogen was overvalued for a really long time, and the market reacted appropriately about 4 months ago, with a large sell-off and a precipitous drop in value. This sell-off undervalued that price, and the value balanced out at a new level. Zooming in, we can see that this rebound is stalled out and has reached a period of stability. This price is going to bounce back again, as I believe a fair price is actually at a lower level than we're at today. As a result, I would sell all nitrogen immediately to catch the crest of this wave as it balances around the fair price. Oxygen isotopes have gone through quite a few price resets over the last month. Overall, this reset is slowly decreasing over time. This is a direct result of the overvaluing of this isotope in comparison to the rest of the isotopes on the market. This staggered drop will continue all the way through to the winter release at the very least. Zooming in, we can see that our price resets regularly jump up quite a ways very rapidly. I would recommend waiting for one of these jumps and then taking the opportunity to get out of the market. Thank you all for watching. This has been Miner Metrics. Be sure to stay tuned for the next episode.